Nsfw, what is the weirdest sexual experience you have had? I once met up with a guy the first was sleeping with, and he had a green screen set up in his room from a uni project. We then got very high and decided to make a porno in space. This is my favorite one in the thread. While on vacation, I chat a bit with a cute girl at a bar and share some drinks. We find out we have similar interests and from the same major city. We traded numbers, but it got late, so I said nice to meet you, but I'm tired and am going to get some sleep. While in an Uber, I get a text from her saying, "Look, my battery is about to die. And I'm only here for the night. I think you're really attractive and amp. If you want to fuck on the beach, meet me at the lifeguard station at location XYZ at 2:30 a.m. I told the Uber driver to drop me off, and I start walking down the beach. I show up and here's the girl with a small bottle of whiskey. We splitted the bottle, strip down and swim in the dark ocean a bit. We then climb into a lifeguard stand, kiss and fuck. It was awful. Sand everywhere. Everything was salty. Cold air made it next to impossible to maintain an erection. And the wind was vicious. About 10 minutes into, I see a faint light and a voice shouting in the distance. It was the police. Apparently the beach is closed at these hours. We rush to get dressed. I fall out the lifeguard stand into the sand, but busting up my legs. I'm moaning in pain with my pants around my ankles, and an empty bottle of Jack next to me. The cop must have thought I was a vagrant drunk at first, but then saw the girl I was with up in the stand. He was understanding but gave us quite the lecture on how stupid we were, and let us go with just a warning. Walking off the beach about to part ways, the girl tells me she's actually married. I immediately felt awful, didn't know what to say, so I said, "Whoa, that's fucked up. Well, good luck with your marriage." I walked to my place and left the next morning feeling like a sandy ball of shit. Sex on the beach is never a good idea, so I guess this is my weird sex story. It's definitely become a running joke between my now husband and I because he has met her and we told him the story. Growing up, I spent a lot of time in the Virgin Islands. A lot of the same families with kids would come back around the same time every year. There was this one girl, let's call her Hillary, that I had become close friends with over the years. The particular winter break when this occurred was my sophomore year of high school, and I was super closeted at the time. Long story short, we end up hanging out at the beach one night and she turns to me and goes, "You're definitely a lesbian, right?" To which I spit out my Shirley Temple and tried to vehemently deny what she was asking. So we're sitting there awkwardly in silence. I'm wet as the ocean because she was gorgeous. And suddenly she's like, "I want you to taste me," and I froze. She kinda gently puts her lips to mine and things start to escalate and get hot and heavy. Next thing you know, we're rolling around on the beach giggling and exploring each other when she does a dead stop and looks me right in the eyes and yells, "Slap my titties, you little slut." Now, I was pretty inexperienced at the time and I'm incredibly submissive, so I started banging on her breasts like fucking bongo drums. I completely lost my shit laughing and told her I forgot I had to do something at home, so she knew it was bullshit, and I took off in a dead sprint into the night. For years after, we'd bump into each other all over the island and stayed friendly even to this day. She grew up to be a successful pediatrician and I wish her all the best. A guy came on my stomach and licked it all off. The weirdest part was that I think I was really into it, but was so unexpected that I couldn't know for sure. Was the guy hot? Not that weird, but kinda funny. My wife and I were doing doggy, and when I was about to come I pulled out too far. I wanted to get back inside her ASAP to maximize my orgasmus. In my haste I accidentally put it in her ass. Not like anal, my shaft slid up between her cheeks, like a sausage on a bun. It still felt good and I started to come monsieur. I looked down and realized my mistake just as the first jizz rope hit me under my left eye. This move shall henceforth be known as hot jogging it. Hot jogging. I met this extremely cute girl at a bar, went back to my place and very disappointingly, she was a complete dead fish in bed. That's not the weird part. I got frustrated and said, "You can do stuff too." Quote, she thought for a moment, then leaned over and tickled my dick like it was a baby. So you got the coochie and the coochie. That's fucking hilarious. I'm still laughing. My first blowjob. She used so much teeth. I kept breathing in sharply and she thought it was because I left it, but God no, it was from the pain. Edit. Teeth edit 2. Thanks for all the upvotes, smiley face. Me and my friends call that the cheese grater experience. Ugh, that makes it sound so much worse lol. We were covered in glow-in-the-dark paint with nothing but black lights on. It's like fucking but in the movie Tron or something. We did it because she bought a glow-in-the-dark stud for her tongue ring and went to Spencer's for the rest. Edit. PSA, if you're going to do this, use non-toxic shit. Also, what makes these things fun was that we were both into it and played into it. That's fucking lit. Once with my GF, we would have your generic vanilla sex. But this time out of nowhere, every time I thrusted her, she kept queefing. It got to the point where instead of passion it was comedy and we both kept laughing. It never happened again. Comedy and sex are the best, that's why I only fuck clowns. Edit. Thanks for the silver. One of my highest rated comments will forever be about clown fornication tendencies. I posted story on Nsfw 5 years ago. I will also post below, so there's much more to this story. The title is a bit tame, if you can believe that. I was in a bit of a rut sexually. The last time I had sex was about 2 years ago with my then girlfriend. I have been posting Craigslist for the past 4 or so months with nothing. No responses to my ads, no replying back from my emails. Until a week ago. I get a reply and honestly didn't think anything of it because it went to my spam folder and the email title was, "Hey man, can you help me out?" I almost deleted it but decided to take a glance at it. It was a guy, early 30s. To paint a better picture for you, I'll post our email conversation. Guy, "Hey bro, just wondering if maybe you can help me out." Me, "Is this a male or female?" Guy, "Male, married male. But before I scare you off, it's no gay shit. I'm looking for someone to fuck my wife." Me, monsieur. "Okay." Guy, "Yeah, her and I have been talking about this for a while and we're ready to do it." You gay? Me, "Well, it's something I've never done before, but I guess I'd be open to it." He goes on to describe him and his wife and then send me a picture. And she was really good looking, not fake picture good looking, like, this is a real girl, good looking. Anyways, my dick is getting the better of me and I sent him a picture. He tells me he will show his wife and get back to me. The next morning, he emails me and tells me it's all good. He asked if I could meet that weekend and I tell him sure. We communicate via email and text for the next few days. Well, lo and behold, the weekend comes up and he texts me that they won't be able to do it that weekend. They are going out of town. I figured they were blowing me off so I moved on. Monday rolls around and he texts me, "Hey bro, you still interested?" I almost didn't respond but again, my dick got the better of me. So I just responded, "Sure." So, he wants to know if I'll meet at their place. I agree, so he wants to meet around 7 p.m. and asked me to call him when I'm on my way. They lived about 30 minutes from me. So, I get on the road and I call him monsieur. He answers and says, "Okay bro, here's the deal. When you get here, I'll bring you to my wife. You're going to fuck her with no condom, nut inside her, and leave." Quote, "Here I am going, monsieur." So he then tells me that she's clean, she can't get pregnant, etc. and that he wants to experience muddy pussy. He then explains what muddy pussy is: another man coming inside a woman, and the husband fucking her right after. So, I tell him, kind of like sloppy seconds. Quote, he just says, well, I prefer muddy pussy, but whatever. Well, after all this, I still agree. He asks me to call him when I get to their street. I get to his street and I call him Monsieur. He lives in a very nice subdivision and he's outside waving. He is about 6'2", 240 pounds. Looks like he used to work out a lot but stopped. Very big arms but not muscular. He had a thin beard with dark hair. I get out of my truck and I go to shake his hand and he doesn't shake it. Just says, alright bro. Here are the rules. No kissing. No fingering or touching her pussy. No playing with her ass. No going down on her. Just get in there, fuck her, come inside her, and leave. Got it, I say, sure, and he takes me into his house. We walk to the back where his bedroom was. He opens the door and his wife is laying in the bed. Naked. She looks up and smiles. He sits in a chair and I get undressed. I was hard the whole way there, but nerves got the best of me and I had a hard time getting up. I start playing with her tits and my god, she had a great body, and smelled excellent. I started sucking on her tits and her husband said, alright bro. That is your first and last warning. I said no kissing. So, I'm halfway hard and I'm still grabbing her tits so I put it in. She moaned and put her hands on my shoulders. I started pumping away and I lasted about 3 or 4 minutes, came inside her like he asked. As soon as I was done, I got off of her, turned around and her husband was standing there with my clothes in his arms. Put them in my hands and basically pushed me out of the bedroom, monsieur. He closed the door and I could hear him say, you liked fucking that little boy, didn't you? And, I can't believe you let that piece of shit come inside of you. Here I am, amazed at what just happened and trying to get my clothes back on. I realized one of my socks was still in the room, but decided to take a loss on that one. They were comfortable socks too. I left and afterwards felt really dirty. I wasn't thinking with the right head. Afterwards, I started to panic thinking about STDs and whatnot. I'm usually really careful but I was just so horny. The next day, I text him to let him know I had a good time. He texts back, yo bro, just because you fucked my wife doesn't mean we're pals. Fuck off, the end.